Will Kamaru Usman reclaim his welterweight title at UFC 286, or will it be Leon Edwards getting it done? See who fighters are picking in the latest edition of MMA Pros Pick.
I do believe that Leon Edwards has the ability to make it happen again. But like I said, I think we're dealing with a fired up Usman. And they're going to be fighting in London, which is going to be in Leon's hometown. So I think Usman's going to bring it. On paper, I've got Usman, but I do believe Leon could win it. He could finish him again.
Oh, that's a good one. I mean, like I said before, it was in the 5th round. It was, I would not say it was a lucky punch. Leon had a good left kick and was he prepared this very well. But I think that's the thing. If we will see if Usman gonna come back after, if he gonna be the same like in before. And this we're gonna find out in the fight. If he gonna come the same, I think he gonna get a decision win against Usman or against Leon.
I'm gonna go Usman because until that head kick, Usman, he was handily winning that fight, and I know he won't have the altitude advantage that he had over in Utah, but I don't think that's an issue. I think he'll be able to do exactly what he did in that first fight, and this time he'll be a lot more aware of that head kick in the 5th round. I think he wins.
Yeah, I want to go with Leon Edwards. Kamaru, I know Kamaru was winning that fight, but Leon he's so good too. Like, they're both so talented. I think obviously at that level, like, anybody can win on any day. But I'm gonna go with Leon.
Kamaru was piecing him up, beating his ass, and then fucking shin to the head. That'll change a fight. So yeah, I think Kamaru wins 9 times out of 10. They fight 10 times, 9 times out of 10 he wins.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna say Usman gets it back.
I go with Kamaru Usman.
I'm probably a little biased on that one too, because I'm just an enormous fan of Kamaru Usman. You know what's so great, going back to our conversation we were having earlier about my last loss. Speaking of losses, that the way that Kamaru Usman handled this loss, I think was almost better. Maybe not better in the sense, probably definitely not for him, because obviously he was, what was the statistic he was about to tie? He was about to tie Anderson Silva for the longest win
Something
streak.
like that, yeah.
I believe so, something like that. But once in a lifetime greatness was about to unfold, and we were less than a minute away from seeing that, because he was clearly dominating that fight and he proved that he was definitely the superior fighter. But just like I said, on any given day or any given night, these guys have the capability of catching one another at any time. That's what makes the fight so. That's what makes MMA the most entertaining sport, because no matter how the fight's going, that at any second it could completely change. I heard this good example of like something like football. If you're down 42-0 and it's the last quarter, seconds left on the clock, you go all out and you throw this crazy Hail Mary pass, you have unbelievable catch, and you get the touchdown. You only came back 6 points, you're still down 42-6, but that same thing happens in a fight, Leon Edwards style. It's like, it's the last round, you're getting dominated and you got to do something to win. You still have that capability. You find one head kick and put out the number one pound for pound best fighter in the world. You just won that fight. So man, I think that Leon's actually probably going to do better this fight, because he knows that he has that capability to beat him. But I do think, like I said, Kamaru proved that first fight to me that he's just the superior fighter. I think that more than anything, he possesses a mindset unlike anybody else. That's what's gotten him to be the greatest fighter in the world. So I think that I think it's going to probably play out a little bit like the first one. I think Leon's definitely going to have his moments, but I think ultimately Kamaru is going to find a way to take him down, beat him up, break his will, and probably finish him.
I think Usman in the rematch. Yeah, I think if he plays a little more conservative, he'll probably just shut him out.
Yeah, it's a third fight. If you remember, Usman beat him the first time, and then Leon took the title.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
the trilogy. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I forget about that too, because it was I think it was 2015.
I think no one wants to see that fight, but I think he'll just get super conservative and grind him out in 5 rounds and leave it, just to cement how much better he is. Even though That was tremendous, and I loved it. I think Usman is the better fighter.
I'm gonna go Leon Edwards. I just think Usman is just like so high on the pedestal. I know how it is to. I've seen people so high and fall. They get slipped out and they're just not the same. And to beat him gives somebody so much more confidence. You know what I mean? You see this guy who can't be beaten, and then you beat him, and it's like, oh, well, it is possible. And I think that's just like I don't know. And then the other guy is like, I can't be beaten. And it just changes the whole mental side of it. And I think that we're going to see a different fight, but I think that Leon Edwards wins.
If I was a betting man and if I was allowed to bet anymore on the UFC, I'd probably go with Usman. Again, like he won 98% of their first fight. And it wasn't even necessarily that he got sloppy towards the end. Just, Edwards did the right thing. I think that's kind of a once in a million kind of techniques that he's going to be able to land. I think Usman's going to be a lot more, stay behind his shell a little bit more, and then we'll just see kind of the same fight over again, and it'll just go to the decision, and Usman will win the decision.
I think probably Kamaru.
This is funny because, obviously the altitude was a big factor in the first fight, and obviously Leon found it hard to sort of adjust to the climate, and he still managed to even pull off the victory in the later rounds. But I think what will play a difference is that they're going to be at sea level. Leon's going to have no disadvantages there. Obviously, Kamaru, is going to be still training at altitude, so his card is going to be good. But I think now being on home turf, on your home soil, having all the adequate training and not having to travel and all that stuff, I think Leon will take this one, man.
Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards. It's either we see the fall of Kamaru for good, meaning you're going to see his age and his injuries and all that stuff finally have its effect, and we might never see prime Usman again, or Usman gets it back. I think skillfully, I think Usman is better, but I think timing has a lot to do with this sport, and I think Usman, given the injuries, this loss, his chin is broken in now. I think Leon can win it. I would still give the slight edge to Usman. He's just a better overall mixed martial artist.
I gotta go back with Kamaru. I mean, he was so dominant in that last fight, and I don't see him making any kind of minor mistake like he did in this last fight to give Edwards a chance to capitalize on. But you never know. That was an absolute banger of a fight, and Usman was just running the show. Just that one little misstep cost him the title. So I think he's gonna get it back. He's been such a dominant champ for so long. I'd be amazed if he doesn't get it back.
Yeah, I think that's they were talking about that in the UK, aren't they? They're looking at that London card. It's been a while since we've seen the UFC pay-per-view numbered event in the UK. I think the last time was Henderson versus Michael Bisping, but they put it at this really awkward time for the UK fans. It was like 3 a.m. it started, so it was all set up for the US audience. To do that to Usman with a head kick, cut the promo, I think that's gave nothing but Edwards confidence in his abilities, whereas he probably was a bit shy going into that fight, knowing in himself that he had that loss previously to Usman. But now I think he's going to be back. He's going to be riding high with the confidence, and I think Edwards is going to really replicate the exact same thing. I think Usman overlooked him, starring in movies, getting a hand operation, leading into a fight. I just think he never gave him the respect he deserved, and I think Edwards' confidence is going to be through the roof and just going to outstrike him again. Usman's going to try and out-wrestle him, but I think Edwards is going to be able to do it again.
I would say Kamaru Usman. He was dominating the first fight. I think he had the fight. I think the second fight, like this third fight, is gonna go like how the four rounds went.
Yeah.
On his last on their last fight. Yeah.
Woo! We're gonna see if Kamaru Usman can stand up against that knockout. Man, he won that fight, so it was a not a lucky shot, but Maybe I hope Kamaru's gonna get back.
Do you think he'll do it though?
Yeah.